Hello everybody, welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble, on the blogger site, and on Patreon for extra support. And any kind of updates and the such usually I go about on Twitter X, which is also where I announce when I go live for, at this moment in time, Shadow of the Earth 3 DLC. I did not manage to get around and stream yesterday because of a work thing. But in the meantime, in my breaks from that work, I managed to publish all VOD stuff, so everything is up to snuff with the Elden Ring, with the live stream there, including Dead Space remake, and tomorrow we'll get another Jedi Survivor, and afterwards Dead Space remake. I will try to do some live streaming today. Just a PSA, I've been checking that. Some people already doing kind of analysis of the end of the Shadow of the Earth 3. Some guides might appear to have been getting a little bit spoilery in the sense of thumbnails and the such, and some titles on some videos. So I really advise you, if you don't get want to get spoiled, don't go along, don't go too much. I don't know, Twitter, to pay attention what you're doing on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube also. But yeah, other than that, I've been being able to play this game basically blind, and without any kind of spoilers, let's say. Yeah, I think basically that's what I wanted to mention at this moment in time. So let's go to some news. AMD supposedly is introducing something similar that NVIDIA presented in terms of technology of texture compression. And AMD is calling it neural texture block compression, which is kind of similar the way they want to go about it, which is using AI compression, I think, or using neural networks. The NVIDIA presented very similar stuff there from the scheme thing here. So far, the way that the texture compression works is like block by block. So I think they try to zip it, let's say, the textures, and then when the game is running, it unpacks those textures. So that's why sometimes you might get some pop-ins and as such, I suppose. And the fact that also there is not a lot of VRAM available. Usually you have some textures issues there. I don't think this is going to let's say resolve the VRAM issue, because the textures themselves have to be presented as it is. What I think it's going to be is try to limit the file size of the game installation by using this technology, in the sense that the install size of games is going to be I don't know, optimized, let's say, and because it's not going to even be like faster, because supposedly is using an unchanged runtime execution. So I think this is more about trying to let's say optimize the compression of those texture packs that we usually have. At least that's my perception on the thing here. The only thing here is how this is going to be implemented, if it is going to be at driver side of things, or is something that, for example, developers have to implement on a game-by-game basis there. We don't know, and also, again, we don't know which kind of GPUs or what kind of hardware is necessary for this to happen. I will assume this is mainly to also help on alleviating some CPU usage, because if not mistaken, I think it's the CPU that uses a lot of the instructions of the textures there to be presented on the GPU side, and I think this neural texture block compression, this kind of technology, are trying to aim to utilize the GPU to do this workload by itself. So I think it can alleviate a bit on the CPU side, because I think that's how textures are, at least the instruction set of presenting the textures, I think it's part of the CPU workload, if not mistaken. And I think if it is what I'm thinking it is, like I'm presenting, putting this workload, I don't know, on MPUs or something like that, or on this new GPU stuff that is going to come out, I think it might alleviate a little bit on the CPU side of things, because again, the more frames that you try to demand out of the game, the more the CPU has to work with those frames, because each frame is the execution of the frame is mandated by the CPU to the GPU, so it presents all the information on the screen, but it's always controlled by the CPU. And I think these companies are trying to, given that the GPU side of things on this particular how parallel processing works, I think the GPU can do a more efficient job of taking some tasks for the GPU side of things, so it presents a more fluid and better presented frame on the screen as we see it. At least that's my perception. Again, we'll have to wait for more news here. We don't even have, like, from the NVIDIA stuff there, a similar technology on. This is still research paper stuff there, and hopefully this at least from AMD, they usually tend to present these things on an open source framework thing. So hopefully we'll get this from AMD on open source, so it can be better implemented and more quickly and easier also. That, at least that's my perception of this new narrow texture block compression technology. Hopefully we'll get news throughout this year regarding this, because I think these companies want to implement this on these new GPUs, because I think they're already implementing NPUs. We already see this kind of implementation, this new APU stuff. They have a block of NPU. I think Intel is doing the same thing on their APUs in the next APU generation, if not mistaken. So it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do with this, at least this narrow kind of functions of the GPU there. Regarding games, we got Shadow of the Tree. I already downloaded this. I just noticed this just before I did the video. I've got I'm following Elden Ring on Twitter, and I saw this like 15 minutes before doing the video. Supposedly there's going to be basically a balance tweak, and I think they are focusing more on the blessings enchantment, so the Skidoo Tree and the Reverend Spirit Ashes. I will assume those are the tweaks that are going to be made mainly, because these blessings usually they increase the attack power and reduce the damage taken by the character, so damage negation. And I think they tweaked to a certain sense, it ramps up more, so you have more damage negation, and you have more attack power on the first half of the maximum amount of blessing enhancements. I think it's 10, from at least makes sense if it is 10, because I already managed to, from the limited amount of map that I've been able to explore, I found enough Skidoo Tree things to ramp up to level 3, I think. So I'm in the first, I don't know, quarter of the map, let's say, I think. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think it's good to assume that they're going to be like 10 levels. So the first 5 levels, the ramping up of the attack damage and damage negation is going to be increased, and then it's going to be more gradual on the final half. And the final level of blessing enhancement is going to be slightly increased. Again, I don't know, they don't mention any kind of percentages or anything, how they're going about it, but for sure people there are, I think Facts Alive will do some testing regarding this situation and will let us know. But again, I'm not visiting Facts Alive at this moment in time, because I don't want to get spoiled, like map sizes or any kind of guides or any kind of words that might spoil certain things, because if you are very lore knowledgeable, or at least paying attention to that, some words and some I don't know, let's say some armor with some names there or something might get spoilery, because you kind of guess what's going to happen given the lore dependency that Shadow of the Tree will have on the base game. But yeah, and the good news that the calibration can be applied by logging into the multiplayer server, so pay attention. I think by the fact that you just start off, if you play a lot on offline, this will not be implemented. But yeah, so pay attention to the right bottom corner when you have the divergence there. If the if there is not 1.12.2, then select login and apply the latest regulation before entering the game. And also, supposedly there, I think this has to do with the performance issues. Developer said that there is a bug where sometimes loading a save from a previous version of Elden Ring will enable ray tracing on PC. So check the graphic settings when you after you load the game, at least check if the ray tracing is not enabled on the graphic settings when you load the game. Because I think this might be a little bit on the I think I have this situation turned on, mainly because I think a lot of the ray tracing is reflections on this game, and water again reflects the stuff, especially light reflections. They are reflected on the water, and it seems to be that I have more of kind of, in terms of performance issues, is mainly near bodies of water, especially on the sea coast. So if you go to the edge of the map, it tends to stutter a little bit here and there. I think it might be regarding this. So by any accounts, check your graphic settings to see when you load the game, to see if anything that it's not supposed to be enabled might be enabled, especially ray tracing. At least seems to be the one of the issues here. But again, at this moment in time, it's what I have with this basically balance tweak, and I think they are going to launch later. We don't have any kind of date for that. They're going to do some patches and bug fixes and such there in a future update. So this is the information that we got from the Shadow of the Tree. It's going to be interesting to see. Again, I'm not taking notes on this blessing stuff there, if I'm doing a lot more or less damage there. I'm not even know how many. I think I'm doing around 1000 with the weapon that I have at this moment in terms of attack power. So I'm not sure how much is going to be changed there. But it's good to see at least some damage negation, because in some bosses we are getting like one or two hit kills. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm not annoyed or anything. I think that so far from what I've been playing, the Shadow of the Tree DLC is excellent. At least so far that I've been playing, I don't have any issues with that. Other news, supposedly the original Resident Evil, it's now available via GOG, and it will come also Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3. Again, this is I think it's DOGE versions of these games. They are coming soon to GOG. GOG I like pretty much because they, to a certain extent, they have a lot of it's the naming, the acronym there, good old games. They have a lot of old games, like original versions of the games there, and they don't have the versions of these games don't have DRM whatsoever. Even newer games that are there, they don't have DRM activated. So I think it's an excellent alternative to Steam, especially on the older games, because we don't see a lot, at least showcased on Steam. Some games I only been seeing on GOG, which is interesting, kind of game conservation kind of a thing. As a platform that sells games, I think it's a good effort from them so far. So again, if you want to check the original 1996 Resident Evil, it's now available for GOG, and they usually have a lot of deals, and the games usually are relatively cheap here, especially the older ones. And I'm going to wrap up here with the thing with utter respect. Again, I have to follow this through because I made some comments yesterday, and again, to a certain extent I maintain the comments that I made. Again, there are certain key aspects. I assume everybody already checked this post. It was, as a reference, it was edited, so far that I'm aware, 2 times. And the edit that was made is this part here, the minor word here, which is very relevant for the case of this statement. Again, I don't think this statement should have been more, how do I say it, better worded. I think this statement was made in conjunction with some lawyers, in the sense that the lawyers provided some guidelines of what he could and could not talk there. Again, it's not a good look. And from the time that I saw there, I made a comment on this tweet, but if not mistaken, yeah, I think the minor word there was not on the statement when I made the comment. But again, I will not remove because I usually, as a principle, I don't backtrack on things that I say. But yeah, this is not a good site here, but still some key information is not known, and some timelines on how some events occur there are not very well explained. I think this again, that's why we should have proper journalistic outlets, especially on the gaming side, because again, I never watched Dr. Respect live streams. I might have watched some commentary on some clips that he made. I'm not sure, but I don't follow the guy. I never saw some any kind of live streams or content from himself, and I basically only knew his existence from the when he was banned 2020, because supposedly he was the biggest Twitch streamer and with the mixer stuff. Again, there is some timeline issues here, because supposedly, according even to him, in 2017, this situation occurred in 2017, and there was a feature which is the whisper message stuff, which is like kind of a DM feature on the chat there. Sorry. And the one of the strangest thing is because this whisper message system, when it was implemented, supposedly only adults could use, so no underage persons. So I think they had like a system verification for the age there, so basically only adults could use. At least that's the information that I have. And again, supposedly there was, I think this was still in beta phase when this was launched in 2017. I'm not sure, I don't follow Twitch and Twitch things. I think it's a horrible platform to deal with. But yeah, there are some stuff here on the timeline. Again, I'm not even trying to discuss what he did, because I think that he cheated on his wife or something like that. I don't care about that. It's more about, to me, it's more important how the Twitch platform handles, and to a certain degree, the legalese of this situation, because of the NDAs and the settlements. There are certain things that are still not very well explained, but the gist of it is, at least so far, given this statement from the Dr. Disrespect, that there are certain things that don't match up very well. Again, because we have lack of crucial information, which is, for starters, the message themselves. We don't have access to the logs there, and I think we will unless there is like a leak, somebody in the side managed to leak the transcripts of the logs there of this this conversation here, which is not even a supposed conversation. And also the actors around this, especially that Cody guy, how he presented the information, trying to sell tickets to avenues where he was playing with a band, trying to sell those tickets by saying that if you got like a full house there, he will reveal the reasons regarding the band of this guy on Twitch. And it's now an ex-employee. Again, there is a lot of stuff that should be handled legally, I think. At least that's my perception. Because in certain, from what I understand, when it comes to kind of settlements, and the fact that was Dr. Disrespect that advanced the lawsuit against Twitch, which is very interesting to say the least. But yeah, the first thing is we don't have any access to the logs itself, so we don't have like even the context of the conversations, and given that it is a minor, supposedly I think it's around 17 years old, so 18 or less, so it's not good. As a person, that's not good. And again, as a principal, an adult, I think as a principle, to avoid these kind of situations, you don't talk about, you don't talk in DMs or any kind of have any kind of interactions with people that you don't know already, at least in real life, to know if it is an adult or not, if you're dealing with this kind of things. If it is like some random person trying to chat with you or trying to interact with you, unless you don't know if it is, especially in this kind of conversation where it said that lean too much on the direction of being inappropriate. Again, we can interpret it as we want. Yeah, this is not good. And as a principle, don't interact with persons that you don't know in real life on the internet, regardless if you are very famous or an unknown person. Again, the interactions that I have online are sometimes on Twitter, trying to do some replies, and on the comment section on my YouTube channel from time to time on things regarding to the videos that I make. I don't talk anything else except for the subjects at hand, in this case on the YouTube stuff there, or any kind of subject. I don't go beyond that, because I will never put myself in a position of reaching to this point, because it doesn't make any sense. If I don't know you in real life, I will always assume that or you are a minor, let's say, in terms of legalese, or you are a children that is impressed by something that I might say on the internet. So I'll always take it with that in mind. But yeah, this is not good. But again, we need a proper timeline. Some investigation here with some timeline of what happened, when it happened, some context regarding and again the transcripts of these messages and when it happened, and the context of the meaning of the messages themselves. So the full logs, the initial conversation till the closing, so you can have a proper idea if it's something that he had knowledge on, because again, he doesn't specifically mentions in this statement that he was not aware that this person was a minor. I'm not excusing the behavior, because again, as a principle, for me, I don't engage in this kind of conversation with anybody online unless I already meet them in real life, so I have a notion what that person is. And again, what else? We need those logs, proper timeline of events there. And we need a Twitch response and not a legalese response, because supposedly only people that were above age should be able to use the Twitch whisper messages, which is something that already been shut down in the meantime. And it's interesting that only 2020, so 3 years after this situation happened, this conversation, only 3 years after that, the ban was imposed. So there is at least 3 years that they supposedly, if they were aware, they never had any kind of issues of a minor or several minor or children using this whisper message system that was only supposed to be accessible to adults on interacting with streamers. So there is that situation of 3 years here, and we don't know exactly, because it's not stated, so we have to assume that if not on the beginning, in the meantime, when the conversation was going, he basically was aware that he was talking to a minor. I don't know. Again, we need the logs there to have a more context on this situation, because regardless, again, as a matter of principle, I condemn these kind of situations, putting yourself in a position that you are basically trying to almost teasing in conversation with the minors. Again, I condemn that. But yeah, at the time that I made the comment on the tweet, I think the minor individual stuff there was not there. It was censored out, the minor part, so I didn't understand why all this fuss was about. But yeah, and also the fact that it's interesting, the fact that what Dr. Disrespect knew about Twitch that made them activate a lawsuit against Twitch regarding the ban situation. and the fact that at the end there was a settlement and Twitch paid them off at least the remaining of the contract, or I don't know what they paid them for. And there was, of course, the NDA involved. Again, in certain situations, the NDA can be terminated, and especially if there is some children or minors involved in this kind of situation. If it is something that can be legally activated, I think there is no limited statutes for minor stuff. Especially, I think he was based in California. I think that there is no statutes or limitations, something like that is called in legal terms. But yeah, we need proper investigation of this to have it at least a journalistic investigation to try to check the timeline stuff there. And probably we'll need some state intervention here to try and sort this out, because my main issue here, again, by the fact that I condemn is conversations and interactions here, and as far as you know, there could be more people involved in this. With him, we don't know. But in this specific case, yeah, we need Twitch to be liable for this kind of things, because if they were covering up, and probably it's one of the things that led this Whisper message system to be shut down, is the fact that they could not gatekeep it, or gatekeeping the age of the users there on this function. And probably I will assume that is something that they didn't manage to get around that, and they had a product that was a failed product from the intentions that they wanted people to use there. And yeah, in the meantime, some shenanigans happened there on the behind the scenes that let minors involved in this kind of situation, and put the minors involved in this kind of situation with this kind of interaction with adults. Again, I'm not excusing his behavior. His behavior is condemnable in the sense on the interaction with minors. What he does inside his house, as long as it's not illegal, if he cheats his wife, if whatever, I don't care. There is also the timeline of the fact that the studio, Midnight Society, cutting ties with them, and the statement that they made. Again, it's weird that, again, I think that I mentioned yesterday that there's something wrong with that, because by the fact that there was still, in effect, the settlement, and this Dr. Disrespect did any kind of statements that might incur on the hearsay for the I think the Midnight Society persons just reacted without the proper information to be out. They might the studio itself is going to be it's going to fall off a cliff. It's going to shut down eventually, unfortunately, because without somebody like Dr. Respect with the community around him to support the continuation of development of the game, because people tend to forget that when a company is dependent on the investors to make a product, if there is no injection of money, the product will fail, and there is no product to launch, basically, and they will have to close, shut down, and basically fire 55 developers there at least. But yeah, the statements on that company, and specifically the way it was worded, it seemed that they should have phrased it differently, instead of saying that they did their own investigation, in the sense they were saying they were talking to the parties involved. Again, the parties involved in this situation are Dr. Respect, Twitch, and the minor person that was involved in this conversation. And again, at least two of these parties are bound by an NDA in a settlement that occurred, and the minor, hopefully it is protected, this person. I don't think it should be subjected to any kind of I don't know, doxing scrutiny or anything like this. But yeah, I don't know which kind of parties they said they were going to investigate and talk to. given that in 48 hours they managed to do this investigation and reach a conclusion of that investigation. Again, I understand that they wanted to protect themselves, and I think the statement should have been worded in a different way, saying that they are going to, I don't know, internal deliberations regarding this situation, and to try to protect the image and whatever, try to at least reach out, because in this statement, Dr. Respect said that they were in separate ways, so it was a mutually accord there. And while the statement, the initial statement from Midnight Society, they said they just cut ties with them, basically, which is very interesting because supposedly as a co-founder, I don't think you can just kick a person out of it unless there is like some clause there that, because if you are a co-founder, usually you have some interest on the company in the form of I don't know, any kind of financial incentives there from stock options or something like that. But yeah, other than that, the situation is a mess. This is not over. This is not over because there are a lot of stuff that needs to be clarified, so you can have a more context and a more clear vision of what happened here. Again, this has the attention that it has because, again, Dr. Respect is a huge streamer, personality, whatever you want to call it, and he has a huge base fan, and yeah, we need some clarifications on this. Hopefully he will go on vacations, and when he returns he can make a proper clarification of the situation. And in the meantime, I hope somebody reaches out to Twitch, or there is some kind of proceeding that can be activated to have a better clear view of what exactly happened, because again, it's a little bit not only a little bit wishy-washy, in the sense there is no clear specifications of what happened. And again, I'm not excusing his behavior, because this behavior is condemnable. I condemn this kind of behavior. Having interactions with random people online, you always have a huge amount of percentage of probably being a miner trying to that is impressed and want to reach out to their, I don't know, a hero, virtual hero, or their favorite stream or something like that. And yeah, this is not good. But again, there is hopefully the fact that there was no nothing illegal happened. Again, so what is legal, it might not be moral, and what is not moral might be legal. But yeah, yeah, I don't like this situation, but we still need more clarification, because we still don't know when the message were exchanged, at what extent, and when in that interaction did he, or if he did know he was dealing with a minor. That's the crux of the situation, given that the in this statement he really feels, at least he says, he really feels repugnant of any kind of predation or pedophile stuff there. Yeah, yeah. We have to have more clarity on this situation. So I don't think this is over. I just want to update, because this is from his mouth, let's say, from his fingers, this statement, even though it was edited here. Again, I think the edit has to do something with the guidelines that the lawyers gave them. I think when I think he was trying to be as much true to the facts, let's say. When he first inputted minor, then he had it back. Probably, again, there is a lot of suspicion that Twitch reached out to him, somebody from the legal department, saying it should be better not to put the minor part there. But then again, when you post something on social media, it's there forever. And yeah, and there is a way of checking tweet edits, which is something very interesting. And then probably he saw the backlash that they saw the edit of the minor word being removed, and he basically had to put it back again, so it doesn't look even worse than it is. which is trying to hide the fact that he knew that it was a child and trying to announce it was not. Again, we need clarification on this situation. We need a proper timeline of events here, and what exactly also from the Twitch situation, because to a certain degree, Twitch framework or this whisper message here allowed somebody to pass through the constraints that feature has, especially on the age stuff there. Somebody managed to pass through, we don't know how many, and in this case this person managed to contact Dr. Disrespect at the time. Again, I will assume that the miner was initiated the conversation. It's my assumption there, and again, even the miner itself doesn't have, it's not at fault here. I want to clarify that, but the fact that Dr. Disrespect responded to that interaction, what again, I condemn that. You should, or you block, or you disrespectful, say something in the sense that you only talk in a public venues, because again, even when you interact with minors, you always do it in a public setting, and preferably if you don't know them from anywhere, you don't even interact with them. But if you're going to interact them on a public venue, like an event or something, it's always better for parents to be there, or legal guardians, or whatever it is, to be present on those interactions, even in a public setting like an event or something like that. Again, yeah, the world is too dangerous to let your kids not guarded from this kind of shit, because to a certain point this can be traumatizing, this kind of interactions. I think the fact that there was nothing like pictures or anything like that shared, it's kind of it's less worse, but it's a bad situation. Again, I condemn this situation by the fact that he managed to interact with this person even without knowing, even if he didn't know that it was a minor. I think you should restrain yourself of not using this kind of functions and DMs and private messaging with random persons on the internet. You should not use it unless it's something that you know in real life, or is something that is formal, in the sense there is another creator that is trying to collab or something like that. It makes sense to a certain point to communicate on personal messaging things. But yeah, this is not good. But yeah, we will need some Twitch answers from this for sure, especially from their side. We will need those conversation logs. But yeah, this is the update for the situation, at least my point of view of things, because there is a lot of stuff that people don't seem to have. Again, his fault of not be the most, not being the moral person on the side of this interaction. But there are certain things that don't strike me as straightforward. It is, especially the legal side of things, and especially the corporation side of things from Twitch. That's my main concern there. What kind of system that they have that allow underage persons to use something that they were not supposed to use, to this situation to be triggered, and also why, what did Dr. Disrespect know about this situation, because it's 3-year gap that you have since this situation happened until the ban occurred, and why did he activate the lawsuit against Twitch, and what he knew or what he had against them, so they can reach a settlement and pay out. So Twitch pay out Dr. Disrespect, and after that there was an NDA there. Again, I will assume the NDA until further notice is something regarding that. After he discovered, probably, again, I'm taking a lot of leaps here in this speculation, probably he knew, we don't know, but probably he knew after, at least after the fact that it was this interaction with the minor, when supposedly he shouldn't be had. And in terms of legal responsibilities there, he just threw the bricks to Twitch, and they basically had to settle down and put an NDA on top of it, so nobody spoke about this, and they managed to maintain this at least 4 years under the wraps. But now, yeah, For sure, I think during this week we will have more concrete information. Again, I tried to that's why we need journalistic integrity here, because supposedly there is some journalists knew kind of or have some awareness of what was happening or what might be happening here, and we need proper journalists here taking a charge on this to at least resolve a timeline here, getting some information, trying to get around inside Twitch to see if somebody wants to talk anonymously or something like that. So at least there is starting to get some pressure from the outside. So Twitch has to say something and be upfront with this situation here. That's why we need good journalistic framework, especially on the gaming industry, because the gaming industry needs to have some opposition. We don't need propagandists from the companies there. We need somebody that can challenge the power centers of this industry. Also, like any kind of power structure, journalism is it's what we usually call the fourth estate for something, because it's the only one of the few tools that the public has that can be used against these power centers. And in this case, on the gaming industry, which is the focus of my channel, we need a proper journalistic framework and entities that can do proper job of what we can call journalists, to deep dive on these things, investigate and expose this kind of shit that's happening always in the backgrounds, because it's not only that disrespect, for sure. A lot of this shit happens behind the scenes that we're not aware of, and we need the exposure to shine a light, because the sunlight is the best remedy for most ailments. And yeah, that's what we need there. And yeah, for the moment, it's what I got to say here. I'm sorry about this huge ramble, but yeah, this is basically at this point in time of making of this the information that I have and my thoughts on this situation. So let's go at least from some good stuff, which is gaming deals. We got Sandland 34% off on Steam. We got also the Invincible. At the time of recording, basically all the Steam games deals here, you will get around, at the date of publishing, around 1 day or so. They are almost finished here. We got also Dredge, 45% off. We got, my god, Death Stranding Director's Cut, 50% off. Again, this has a stamp of approval for me, this game. We got Ni no Kuni. This is the remastered version of the first game. And then Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom, 85% off. On GOG, we got Deus Ex. This is Human Revolution Director's Cut, sorry, 85% off. Then we got Mankind Divided Digital Deluxe Edition, 85% off. And we got also God of War. Again, I only announced it here because oh my god, on GOG you don't need any kind. It's DRM free and online connection required to play. It's one of the other things that I completely forgot. You don't need online connection to play, so no activation. You just download the file from there and you just play along. That's why I did from PlayStation specifically. If there is on GOG, it's because there is no online requirements. So supposedly, I think there is no need to have a PSN account. At least so far, these older games that PlayStation launched. That's my perception there. And also, again, just Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition, also the same thing. No activation line required to play. And yeah, it's 75% off. It seems pretty good, at least the first one. But yeah, with all that said, this is what I got for you today. Again, I'm sorry about these ramblings, especially on this situation. Yeah, we need more clarity on that. I'm going to wrap up with a plan on my Patreon for extra support. And that extra support is for me at this moment in time to get a storage solution, for me to be able to get backups of the stuff that I have for my clients, and also some extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.